I'm David Boreanaz with the CASA SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help. It's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
We know there's no greater sacrifice than service to our country.
Your service is important. Your life is important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help. 24 hours a day. Please call.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. I'm your host. My name is Travis. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hoobazoo Network. You can find out more on hoobazoo.com. I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Army National Guard veteran Mark Holmes of Reapers Detailing and Power Washing, and my supporters, all veteran-owned businesses, Cason Shaving Company, Black Cat Designs, and Savage American Woodwork. Thank you all. Okay, this is an exciting week. It's an exciting time. This is all about the Rugged Warrior Healing Coalition retreat, featuring amazing female women veterans put on by Gina Alderman at Crystal River, Florida. I have one of the panelists, one of the attendees, awesome lady who I've collaborated with on other things, Stephanie Grant, Army Reserve veteran. Welcome to Oscar Mike Radio.
Hi, glad to be here.
It is awesome. You're up there in May. I'll have to ride up there and see you one of these weekends.
Yeah, it's beautiful out right now, actually. So perfect time to be here.
Well, just if I can talk about Maine for a second, I can't. It's like an untapped jewel. Like I tell people,
it really is.
You get up past Portland and it's like unspoiled with rolling hills and
yes,
clear skies.
If you love the outdoors, it's a perfect place. It's Shangri-La.
I can't explain it. Like every time I go up there, whether it's the dead of winter and cold or in the fall especially, it feels like I've been renewed because of the nature. It's just an amazing place. So
it really is.
I'm jealous.
After being around the world, it's like, there's a reason why we come back here. It really is a special place.
So tell me, you're in Maine now, but before that, you served in the Army Reserves, I believe. Yes,
I did. Yes. So
tell me about that story. How did you get there, and what was your experience like, if you don't mind?
I joined the Army Reserves in 2000. Just thought it was the natural thing to do because it runs in my family, military service. And I also wanted options. So if I wanted to go back to college, I had a means to do so. So I figured, why not? So I did. And I loved being a soldier. I loved it. I actually got deployed in 2004 and I spent a year in Iraq, and I actually, as weird as it sounds, it felt right. Like it felt natural to serve my country. And I actually had thought about going active duty.
Oh, really?
Right. And then until I was really betrayed by my leadership.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can you, or do you want to talk about that?
I won't go into detail because it's not pretty, but
Sure.
I was sexually assaulted by my squad leader and members of my own squad. And that's actually what I talked about in the book, Veterans Unchained.
You did talk about that, and I didn't know if the two were connected. I didn't want to assume anything for this conversation, but
sure,
you talked very openly about that. And if I may, from a guy standpoint and a male veteran standpoint, I got to tell you, Stephanie, you really brought it home why, more than anything else, it was the betrayal of trust you had in your leadership.
Oh, yeah. And I will go on. I'll start out by saying it's not just a women's problem. It happens to men as well. It's everybody's problem.
Sure.
My husband's a Marine infantry vet as well. It happens to both men and women. So anyone who says it only happens to women is fooling themselves. And it's absolutely ridiculous that it keeps on happening. There's just no reason for it to keep happening at all.
Well, I'll have a link to the Veterans Unchained book in the Oscar Mike Rios show post for this conversation. But
Yeah.
again, I just want to tell you that when I read your story, it brought a real human side to the problem that you just don't hear about at a congressional hearing or research, paper. It
Oh
was,
yeah.
and so I just want to salute your courage and your candor for sharing that with the world, Stephanie. It was really insightful. Thank you.
Well, thank you, because it's near and dear to my heart. I mean, it's so easy to just talk about it. We have sharp meetings and all that, but it really seems to make a mockery of it. But when you really are up close and personal with it, you know, if it doesn't happen to you, we all know somebody who is a victim of it or a
Right.
survivor of it. I like to say survivor rather than victim. Um, it you can either rise above it or you can let it ruin your life. So I choose, to rise above it. I'm not going to let them win and let it ruin me. I just refuse to, because then they got what they wanted. I'm not going to. And I mean they as those who,
Right. Those who
attacked
perpetrate.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perpetrator. So yeah, I'm not going to let them win.
And you haven't, and that's the best part of the way you close that book out. Is a lot of what you're
Right.
doing now is that grit and determination to be a survivor and move past this, but also try to make change where you are. So
Right.
was when you got out and separated, what was that transition like, trying to get back to being out of the military, back in civilian life full time?
Um Actually, that's a pretty good question, because I think I kind of shoved my trauma back in the, if I don't talk about it, if I don't think about it, it never happened. And that's how I went for maybe 10 years or so.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah. And never talked about it to anybody. It was kind of like my deep, dark little secret. And I even had people tell me it was my fault. So when you're told that, you believe it. Now I know better. And that's why I'm not afraid. I wasn't afraid to tell the world, and I did. That's not my shame to carry, and it isn't anymore. So, but for the longest time, I was a workaholic. I just kept, I worked overtime for, I don't know, years later. And it's just, I guess that was my way of just trying to forget about it. And you can't, because the body keeps score.
Yeah.
You just can, it will come back and haunt you in different ways. And it did with me until I just finally confronted it head on and decided to deal with it.
Well, I think this is a very powerful message. Is so many people, and we saw this from the Catholic Church abuse scandal down here in
Oh
Boston,
yeah, yeah.
where those boys held on to it for
Oh my
decades.
gosh, yeah.
And you're right. The cost comes due.
It does.
It does. So you get out and you deal with this, and you meet Gina. Now tell us, how did you meet Gina?
It was really through a Facebook group. So a kind of serendipity, really, through Facebook. And we just so happened to be talking to each other in this women's veterans Facebook group. And she says, "Hey, I'm going to write this anthology about, women veterans, and it's going to be faith-based." And I thought, why not? Maybe now is the time. So, and then the rest is history. So it was meant to be.
Now, you say faith-based. Do you have a faith component in your life?
I do. As a matter of fact, actually going through a pastoral program right now so I can be a ordained pastor.
I just have to ask then, how has your faith woven into your survival, if you will, and what you're
Right.
getting ready to do at the retreat?
Well, I will say that my faith hasn't always taken a straight path. It's actually been kind of like a river, if you will. You know how a river kind of changes courses over time, and
Like the Kennebec.
exactly, yeah, or any river in the world. But it changes courses. It's been rough here and there, but it's always been there. And I realized that's what's kept me going all this time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So faith really is a foundation for your life, and you're going to be sharing
It
that.
is.
And it's in Gina's life as well, to be clear. I mean, she's very public about how her faith has become, or is at a very young age, the focal point of what she does. So you met through the Facebook group, and she got you to write the book, and that's how I got, acquainted with you.
Right.
And as time goes on, what was it like hearing about the retreat idea from Gina?
To me, it was pretty exciting. I'm hoping this will be a part of something even bigger in the future. Maybe some other women veterans, or even male veterans, co-ed, can possibly come together and heal. Maybe this will be the start of something big, something much needed.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I don't want to spoil, I didn't want to spoil, but tell us about what
Right.
you are presenting at the retreat at Crystal River.
I am, and I'm even putting on a little class on how to make jewelry too. So just something that people can make and then take home with them.
Where now making jewelry, is that something you do a lot, or is that a hobby, or is that something you
It
just
is a little
find?
hobby of
Yeah,
mine. Yeah.
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 Well, I don't know anything about making jewelry. I try to
Right. Yeah.
avoid jewelry stores, Stephanie, for obvious
Right.
reasons. So
Well, yeah. I mean, something I'll have the option of making keychains and things like that too.
is it working with your hands that you find attractive about jewelry making, or is it just taking a lump of rock or stone or metal and crafting something beautiful?
I think that's exactly it. Working with my hands and creating something out of it.
It's just the thing that I've always gotten about jewelry is we've had rings, for example,
Right.
and bracelets for thousands of years. It's still a bracelet, still a ring, but there's so much you can do with it. It's
Yeah.
really this is where the artist part comes into play, right? Anybody can make a ring.
Oh yeah.
But
But once you see how easy it is, I think maybe it might spark an interest in other people. And hey, I can do this at home too.
well, that's a very interesting part of this. I'm glad you brought that up, because I feel that for me as a veteran and other veterans in the community is, look, runs are great, golf tournaments are great, motorcycle rides are great, right? All that stuff is
Oh
great.
yeah.
But I find a lot of veterans want to do something.
Right. There's something very healing in being able to create something,
Okay.
I believe.
Do you have a favorite type of jewelry you enjoy creating?
I make a lot of earrings and necklaces, but I also have started to make keychains.
Really? All right. This is just amazing. I'm going. Because now I'm
Yeah.
just full of questions. So, what's the difference between like making an earring and a keychain? It might seem like noob to you, but to me, I don't know
Right.
anything about this. What's it like?
Really, it's not different at all. It's just a works differently. That's all. But it's
Well,
really how the creation wise is pretty much the same.
well, I've seen what they do for earrings. They punch a hole in your ear, Stephanie, with this big
Yeah.
needle, which freaks me out, which is why I will never have
Right.
an earring, right? So you have this metal object on a like a nail, for lack of a better term. It's called a
Yeah.
stud, right?
Right.
It's like a nail. It looks like a nail to me, Stephanie. And then on the top of it, I don't know if you call it that or not, there's where the design takes place. So it's not big. How would I get these mitts to make the earring?
Well, it is a lot of close, intricate work, and
Yeah.
it takes a little time and a little patience.
Okay. So it's practice. It's like anything else.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you like like putting stones or turquoise or stuff like that on your earring design?
I do, and I also will use some charms too, pre-made charms.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I think about what
Yeah.
I have. If you ever see me with an earring on, Stephanie, that's not me.
Right. Yeah. That's why I've started to make keychains too, because I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea.
So what goes into making a keychain?
Pretty much the same thing. I'll use stones and charms and things like that. That way there's something for everyone, pretty much.
Do you ever use like wire or, uh, I don't know, leather and any stuff like that in jewelry making? I don't
I
know.
haven't really gotten into the leather yet. I want to. I just need to, I've been gathering some more and more tools as I can afford it. But yeah, leather working is pretty cool. I used to do it once upon a time, but
So I kind of like making stuff, and it's one of the reasons I'm interested in this aspect of the retreat is in some retreats I look at the agenda, and it's you're sitting there for 8 to 10 hours a day getting force-fed information, from a water fountain,
right.
and you get to the end of the day and it's like what just happened? I couldn't remember what I did 20 minutes ago. The reason I'm kind of very interested in a lot of the other panelists, including yourself, is it's more meaningful because you have to bring this stuff from Maine to Florida, which is its own, journey and adventure.
Yeah,
Get it to Crystal River, get it all set up, and then walk these people through this who, it takes a little bit of skill, right? And
yeah,
you're going to work with them, right? And you're going to, coach them. And what I'm trying to say is at the end of the class, if you will, you're going to become a part of them and they're going to become a part of you. I mean,
yeah.
have
That's
you ever
kind of
thought,
neat.
about it that way?
I haven't, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, that's really cool because we'll have a connection. And
It,
there's going to be no mistakes, just happy accidents to, a little nod to Bob Ross there.
God rest his soul, man. I mean,
I know,
I wish there were more art people like him. I might have taken it
I
up.
know.
It's happy accidents, right? But
Right, yeah.
when that person's holding that pair of earrings or that keychain that they have on their keychain, I think this is what leads me to my next part of our conversation is how do you all take what you've gotten from the retreat and get it out to a larger audience? Well, you all have a key ring, you all have a piece of jewelry, you all have something, and you can talk about, well, I was at this retreat in Florida, I felt this way and I got this out of it. I think that's much more impactful, right, than a speech
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not something you can just buy at a gift shop. It's something you made.
like that.
So
I like that.
definitely.
So just out of curiosity, do you fly out of Portland?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm flying out of Logan, but we'll see how that goes.
Right.
The
Going
small,
United.
oh, good luck.
Well,
Yeah, I know. It's just you never know what's going to happen anymore.
you don't, you just kind of, you literally leave it in God's hands and go from there.
So one thing I got to ask you, because we're both like in New England. We're going from
Yeah.
New England, where last week, I don't know about you, but down here in Mass, it was like 46 for the high, cold, wet, and raining.
Right.
We're going to Florida, where it's going to be. How are you going to deal with that?
I think, well, I don't know. I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time in the water.
Well, speaking of the water, one of the things that you all are going to get to do is literally swim with manatees.
Yeah.
Now, it's one thing to go to retreat or Disney World class and go see
Right.
Cinderella or whatever, but how next level is it that you all are going to get to touch a manatee, Stephanie?
That's mind blowing. I mean, actually, I'll be honest, I'm not a big theme park person.
Yeah.
So Disney World is not on my list of places to go. I'm all about nature. This is my Disney World. This is awesome. So I can't wait.
Are you feeling like a little kid getting
I
the,
am.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's amazing.
I know.
But and again, it's not like you're going to a prepackaged ride, and
No, no.
you're going to have to be in the moment to enjoy this time with these amazing creatures.
Oh yeah. I'm stoked. I don't know about you, but I'm stoked.
Well, of course, I'm stoked. First of all, for me, I get to meet you all. We have
Yeah.
collaborated on books. I remember March of last year where I meet a lot of you for the first time, and I'm like, okay, I'm the only dude here.
Yeah.
And then I read your stories, and was blown away by stories like yours. Like, okay, this is not one of those someone trying to preach or sell me something. This is my story I'm trying to tell. And then Gina had this amazing idea, and I'm like, how cool is this? I think that
Oh,
female veterans need something like this, and I think that male veterans need to support what you all do. And
yeah.
I think it's going to be a very good time. That kind of leads me to my last thing is, truly, when this is all said and done, what are you looking to have gotten out of it, or what are you looking for other female veterans that you talk to get out of your experience?
I would encourage them to step out of their comfort zone because that's what truly heals. Even if they don't go to this retreat, at least try something new. I hope to inspire another veteran, male or female. Step out of your comfort zone because you never know what you're going to do, what you're going to find, who you're going to meet. Because that's when the real magic happens. That's when the real healing happens.
Faith's a big component, nature's a big component, healing's a big component of what you do. As you develop into an ordained minister, how important are these other experiences to building the kind of minister you want to be?
I'm hoping it enriches my path to become a minister. I really do. That's actually number one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to meet in Florida. I'm supposed to see my son next month.
That's awesome.
Maybe we'll figure out a way to sync up in Maine for a coffee or something, and I'll
Yeah.
say hello to your Marine husband, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we'll trade sea stories. I just feel honored to see this come together. You all have built an amazing group of powerful women who are truly there for each other. And so, as we come to a close, it's going to be here. And then I think we'll be asking the question, what's next?
Right. Exciting. It's not exactly known what's next, but it can be exciting. The unknown can be scary or it can be exciting. It's all depends on how you look at it.
Well, there's a lot of unknowns coming up for sure. I've never seen a manatee up close like this.
I haven't either.
So
I definitely have not.
well, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So again, my name is Travis. I'm with Stephanie Grant, Army Reserve veteran, and she's going to be presenting at the first, but certainly not the last, Rugged Warrior Healing Coalition retreat put on by Navy veteran Gina Alderman, and at Crystal River, Florida. And it is just amazing to talk with her finally. We have been very, very busy, very, very involved in different things, but I'm so glad she told your story. And I'm going to have the link to the Veterans Unchained book in the Oscar Mike Radio show post. Do you want to share anything else with people about how they can connect with on the show post?
I do have a LinkedIn profile if anyone wants to connect with that.
Okay.
Under Stephanie Grant.
So I'm going to have the Veterans Unchained book link in the Oscar Mike Radio show post, and I will put Stephanie's LinkedIn profile in there. I'll make sure I like that after our conversation, Stephanie.
All right.
I'm going to see you in about a week. This is going to be exciting.
I know.
And
hopefully your flight goes smoothly. Hopefully mine does too, and we'll see each other soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oscar Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. Stephanie, thank you very much.
Join us on National Wreaths Across America Day, December 16th, 2023. Each December on National Wreaths Across America Day, our mission to remember, honor, and teach is carried out by coordinating wreath-laying ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery, as well as more than 3,700 additional locations in all 50 states, at sea and abroad. Join us by sponsoring a veteran's wreath at a cemetery near you, volunteering, or donating to a local sponsor group.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio. where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 998 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.